first stop is Finland, and we are going to talk to June Carrier-Repo, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her artifacts.
Hi, Ken. Well, first of all, here I have a couple of samples of Finnish glassware. The first piece here is a vase called, it's the Itala make. Finland is very famous for it. And below here, I have a plate. It's one of the newest designs from Finland. It's Nuutavijärvi design, which is a subdivision of the Arabia glassware company. As you can see, the delicate artwork, the peony, and the label down here. Samples of Finnish jewelry. These are replicas of the jewelry that was found in Finland while they were excavating graves. They're called galavakoru. They've sort of become fashion in Finland now. And over here, I have a sample of, say, the modern-day jewelry, sterling silver. As you notice, it's a lot whiter than, say, our Canadian silver would be. These are Laplander boots. They're handmade, made out of reindeer skin, and the little doll sitting in between them is sort of it's a sample of what the little Laplander people wear up in Finland, very heavy woolen fabrics. Here we have the wooden pail that they use in a sauna. As you know, a sauna is very hot. If you had metal in there, you'd burn yourself. So many Finns use these wooden pails to keep their water in, and they throw the water on the stones to promote moisture and steam. And while you're having a sauna, you would scrub yourself with this brush to remove any dead skin. Some of the products that are available here are this original Finnish sauna soap and sauna lotion. Here is a towel, much coarser texture than perhaps your velour type towels here, which again removes the dead skin. This is called a vihta. Now in a Finnish sauna, you would put this on the rocks, throw water on it, which would promote steam and would heat up the leaves. After that, you would take this vihta and beat yourself. Now this sounds a little barbaric, but it really isn't. What it does, it opens up your pores and, circulates the blood to the top. And of course, last but not least, our little flag here. White and blue. The white represents the snow-capped mountains in Finland, and the blue clear skies.
And here we are in Denmark, visiting Karen Anolien Sorensen. And I'd like to talk to Karen first of all and find out a little bit about that funny-looking thing she's holding.
This is the famous little trolls in Denmark. It's made in northern Denmark on a little island called Gøl, and the name of the maker is Dam. So we call them the Dam Trolls, and they're quite famous all over the world. Now the factory is changing into another brand. They are making movable arms on the little figures, and they are going to make a movie with them, something like the Muppet Show. Then we get to the toaster holder. Now in Denmark, we don't like warm toast and melted butter. We toast our bread and put it in a holder to dry it well. And then we put on some fresh butter. Butter is one of our products that we export. Then we get down to the little boards here. They are, instead of bread and butter plates, we use the little board to make our sandwiches. When we sit down for lunch, everybody get a little board, and we take our rye bread, heavy pumpernickel rye bread, and we butter it and put on our herring, pickled herring, and we eat it with a knife and a fork right off the board. And then we get to the little coffee pot here. Now, in the old days, it used to be blue. Every household in Denmark had a blue coffee pot. So when we got visitors, they would ask, "Is Madam Blue warm?" Anyway, we make coffee, we pulverize our beans, and then we put them in this little sock here, and we have a boiling kettle next to it, and we pour the water through it, and we never heat the coffee pot. We don't like boiled coffee. And we drink it as we make it. Then we get, here is a little teacup. It's different from other countries. They like to keep their tea boiling hot. not in Denmark. In the old days, we used to pour our tea in the saucer and drink it. But then they came up with a new idea. They made these flat cups, and it makes the tea look more dainty when it's sipped. Then we get to the more collector's item, the more expensive ones. They are made by Bing and Grandal. And there is the Christmas plates with a different motif every year, something that is close to Denmark's, to the Danes' heart. Like here's a Christmas tree with living candles, which is one of the things we like on our Christmas tree. We have little candles that we light, and we keep an eye on it. We don't have any fires. There is another one. There's a new item of the collection. It's little bells, which are made by the same company, Bing and Grandal. Each year they pick a new motif from its famous churches throughout Europe they use. This one here is St. Peter's Basilica Church in Rome, and that's from 1975. Now, we get to the other little items here. It's collector's items, like the bird sweets. Just about every household have, even in Canada, visitors are buying these to take home as memento of their trips over there. There's another very beautiful vase with the anemone that we call this flower. It grows in the bottom of the woods wild, but it's a beautiful little flower. And then there is a little plate here with a costume off from one of the islands, which is the one that I am wearing here. They are rather drab in coloring because these are cold areas. The coast fishermen's wives, they were always dressed in woolen clothes, and with the storms there and the fear that their husbands might not come home, they try to keep warm. And this is their headgear and their scarves and their long dresses. And then we get to the famous Danish drink, the snaps from Aalborg. Most people knows about it, even in Canada. And this is the little glasses that we find all over there. A half an ounce, that's all it takes. And then on to the next one. That's the schooner there that Ole will explain.
Yeah, here's the three-master schooner. It's the apprenticeship of the Danish Navy, where the Navy cadets and hopefully future Navy officers learn to sail exclusively by sails, and it does sail all the 7 seas.
Thank you, Ole, and thank you, Karen. Before we leave, I'd like to show you something that is very pretty and something that I find very attractive. It's Danish teak, and it is practical because it's all lined with beeswax, and it has been used. So now we'll say goodbye to the Sorensens, and we will set sail for Iceland. Here we are in Iceland visiting with Babe MacArthur. And Babe, I'm very intrigued with those 2 figurines you have there. Would you tell me a little bit about them, please?
Well, the first one is the Viking doll. It's handmade by Laura Morris. And then the very famous Fjallkona, the Iceland lady of the mountain or maid of the mountain. And the costume I'm wearing is the everyday, or was the everyday costume of the early 1900s, and my partner is wearing the Sunday best costume. And the Sunday costumes were richly adorned with the silver filigree jewelry, which is the traditional jewelry of Iceland. Then there are also the pagan gods, which are depicted in jewelry and pictures.
Is that one's name Igor?
This is Thor, the god of thunder, and he is holding his hammer Mjolnir. This is the more modern type of jewelry, and this jewelry is all handcrafted from sterling silver. This is the modern heavy type and in great contrast to the delicate filigree work. And Iceland, of course, is famous for its wools, and these are their sheep. It shows that these are the natural colors. There are no dyes used, and it's very, very fine wool, very, very warm wool. In the olden days, the housewives used to use a sheep's bone to wrap their wool around that they kept handy for darning the socks or the shawls or whatever they had to work at. Now the next item is a bowl, a wooden bowl. These were their eating utensils. They used the horn spoons. They were carved from horn, and the bowls were often very ornate. The gentlemen would try to outdo each other and getting their wives the fanciest eating bowls. And that is from the very old days in Iceland. They're much more modern now. They don't use those things.
And what is this, these funny-looking things?
The volcanoes in Iceland are very productive, and this is the lava that they spew out regularly, and they have such an abundance of it, they had to find some use for it, being practical people. So they have beautiful clay for making ceramics, so they incorporated the lava into the ceramics, giving it a very, very distinctive style. And then, of course, we have other things, but time doesn't allow to show everything. People would have to come to the Scandinavian Pavilion to see everything there is on display in our countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Babe. That was most informative, and I'm pretty intrigued with those costumes. And now we will make our way to Sweden. And here we are in Sweden, and we have again met Miss Scandinavia. Hello again, Inga. It's good to see you. But really, we came here to visit Evie Lindquist and to tell us a little bit about her display.
Ken, the items that you see on the counter here at our display are hand-carved, and hand-painted items from Mora, Sweden. These carvings were carved, or from the onset were carved in the early 1800s and hand-painted. They are now a very popular souvenir item and are exported all over the world. They range in various shapes and are beautifully colored in a rose mailing type of painting in the traditional blue, red, yellow, and green. There is also the rooster that they carve, along with the dala häst, as we call them in Swedish. The next item is our Swedish rolling pin for making thin bread. It makes a very fancy pattern in the bread, and if anyone is interested in obtaining the recipe, I have it for the viewing audience. This is also hand-carved, and this is traditional of Swedish handicraft and carving. The next items are the straw goats, as we call them. They are really the traditional Swedish Christmas ornaments, along with the two little wood shaving carvings that I have here on the counter. These are very, very popular in Sweden. And here at the end are the famous ripa birds. These are the birds that swim in the water. They live on the water and also live on land. They are made of crystal, and they are also imported from Sweden, and we have them in a variety of colors and sizes. And of course, our beautiful little dolphin. This is a beautiful little piece that we have, and it's become a great favorite of ours. And of course, our Swedish flag. The colors are the blue of the water, and the yellow represents the sun.
Thank you very much, Evie. It was a nice trip to Sweden, and now we will make our way to Norway. Hello, and here we are in Norway, and we're going to talk to Elna Brody. But first of all, I'd like to introduce you to our Norwegian princess, Carla Forsted, who'd like to say hello.
Velkommen.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here. Now, Elna, I'd like to help us out on our tour of Norway. And first of all, that beautiful blue pillow there. Could you tell me something about it?
Yes, this is a typical Norwegian embroidery, and it's called hardanger work. It is on a particular material so that it is all in counting, and it's very difficult, let me tell you. But it is a typical Norwegian embroidery.
Thank you. Hardanger, that is a province, I believe, in Norway, because the suit that I am wearing happens to be a farmer's suit from Hardanger. Did you recognize it?
Yes, yes,
Oh.
of course I did.
Oh, would you like to just take us through and explain a
Yes.
few of the other things you
Yeah, this is also a beautiful hardanger work made by one of our members, and this is just a regular Christmas type cloth. Now, did you want to know about the roosmaling?
I certainly would.
Yes, this is a Hallingdal roosmaling. It is a very Norwegian painting. Here you call it rose painting. Now, here we have Jesse Sutherland, who is demonstrating the telemark type of rosemalling, and here you have telemark. This is a Hallingdal rosemalling. The others here are telemark. And if I could turn you over this way, this is Rogaland. There are 3 types of rosemalling in Norway, and this is a Rogaland. They're all different districts in Norway.
Thank you very much, Elna. The rosemalling painting is one of the nice, beautiful things, and Jesse Sutherland just does a superb job. And I would like to just show off Miss Scandinavia's boot here. That was done by Jesse of her own design, and for our Miss Scandinavia 81. And we do thank you for it, Jesse. You do beautiful work. And now I'd like to move down and talk to Paul for a moment and just see what he's doing over there. As you can see, this young man is hard at work. His name is Paul Lewis, and this is all handwork he's doing. He's working on a piece as I see it now. I guess it's pretty well just starting, is it, Paul?
Yes, this piece is, I've got the other side to do. It's a cross piece for the candlestick.
Very similar to the candlestick that we see here on the wall, is that correct? And this is interesting. What is that, Paul?
This is a 9th century design that I found from a harness piece that I've carved in birch. The rest of the work here is in pine.
Thank you very, very much, Paul. And then maybe you'd like to just have a look at some of the very fine needlework that they have. It's absolutely gorgeous, and there's one piece that I'm particularly proud of, and that is this one right here, which was made by my great-aunt in Jovik in commemoration of our visit there in 1978. And now that concludes our trip to Norway, and I'd like to say thank you to our princess, Elna, Paul, and Jesse for their very, very fine explanation of our trip here.